what you want.
Hey guys, this is P.M.R.Bonez88, and before I go even further, I just want to let you know I have a little teeny tiny cold. My throat's still kind of hurting, especially if I try to talk loud or yelling. It really hurts and I'll probably lose my voice for a brief second. So if I'm talking very soft, I apologize. But eventually I am getting better, but I'm not as worse than I was for the past 2 or 3 days. So without further ado, I went to the movies in theaters with my girlfriend again and my friends, and I saw was Justice League. Finally, all the heroes have band together. Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. And honestly, I did enjoy this movie. It's not as big or better as the Avengers were, but it's very quite enjoyable, and it's quite fair of a superhero band together. I mean, it is better than Batman v Superman. So 2 directors actually directed this film, Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon. I think apparently that both directors, they wanted to try to make Justice League as better and as bigger and epic like Marvel's Avengers. But however, there's been a lot of reshoots and very quite different scenes and directions that they wanted to take this movie. And I felt it was pretty rushed in, like the storyline was a bit of rush, and we kind of hardly got to know the characters not too well. I felt that there were some scenes that were cut, or there were some scenes that were missing. Maybe they were part in the trailer and they didn't really make it in theaters. But although the actors such as Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot returned to play as Batman and Wonder Woman, and we introduced to the new heroes Cyborg, The Flash, and Aquaman. But even so, Justice League was a good start, but it didn't really hit up to the box office, because according to other film critics, they said it was like the lowest and the worst superhero ever. I have to disagree. It's not the worst. It's not as worse than Batman and Robin, I'll tell you that. But it's not as great as other DC films ever since with Wonder Woman. Now, when I was a kid, back then, I only knew the DC heroes were Batman, Superman, and sort of The Flash. I hardly got to know Aquaman. I hardly got to know Wonder Woman. And I didn't even get to know Cyborg, not ever since the cartoon series of Teen Titans. That's all I've known of Cyborg, is he was the Teen Titans. I never knew he was part of the Justice League team. They did have a cartoon series, and I did watch a couple of episodes of it back on Cartoon Network. I kind of know much more about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. And I've always wanted to see where other Justice League characters that would be in this film. But maybe they will show up, maybe probably in the sequels, if they ever do make a sequel. Now, for the storyline, I felt like it was kind of jumbled, and the main problem was that Zack Snyder can't even try to make the storyline connecting very well. I mean, from one scene we only see is the biggest battle ever, but then up to the point on, it stops right there and goes off to the next scene. That was the problem. Like, there was still missing a huge chunk of this film, and that was the problem. And Joss Whedon tried reshooting every single scene and trying to fit into this storyline, but it didn't work. And that was the good thing about what Joss Whedon did, because he has some imagination, he has some ideas and how to make it more epic. But I felt like that Justice League was kind of a mediocre superhero film. But there will be an extended edition or a director's cut, depending which director will try to reshoot or try to re-edit this film to make it more longer and make a logical sense to this film. And as for the characters, we've kind of got to know their origins pretty much. Except for Aquaman, we kind of got to know his origin just partially, but how the way the actor made Aquaman turn into be a badass hero. I've been saying badass. Every single superhero that I've seen were badasses. Batman was a badass, Wonder Woman was a badass, even the Flash was a badass, and hell, Cyborg was also a badass. You know what? All these superheroes were badasses. I'm gonna tell you that much. They were all badasses. And if you disagree with me, then you know what? You're wrong. I think my favorite superhero besides Batman was the Flash, that played by Ezra Miller. How the way he made this character very funny and sometimes very outwitting, and sometimes he jokes a lot, and that's how the Flash is. He is a wisecracking joke because he reminds me so much of Spider-Man. You know, every single superhero, they do kind of resemble to the Marvel heroes. Me, I'm just a Marvel kid. I mean, I love all the Marvel heroes. I do love the DC heroes too, but still, I'm much more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan. Just like I'm much more of a Star Wars fan and less of a Star Trek fan. I think the most best suit ever was the Flash's suit. I thought at first it was going to be a CGI suit that he was going to wear, but actually it was a real ass suit he was wearing. It wasn't CGI. He wasn't wearing a green or a computerized suit that he was going to wear and they were going to edit and make him as a CGI suit. But kind of thing, it was a real ass suit, and that was awesome. And I really want to get my hands on that kind of suit soon. I like with the Flash series that's on the CW. I do love that suit and how we discover Barry's origins and how he learns how to use the Speed Force, and talking about going from one universe after another, including Flashpoint, and which I also really want to see is a Flash movie itself. And maybe they might do a story plot, maybe the Flashpoint story. They should go with that. Now the villain they were facing off was Steppenwolf, and I found this character not really threatening, and I didn't feel like he was very sinisterous. Sinisterous. Who says that? Now I find this character okay, but he wasn't really that of a much of a threat or very evil. He kind of reminds me of, he resembles to Loki just a little bit. But his mission was that he wanted to get all the mother blocks so he could create an apocalypse, like the end of the world. He does mention the name Darkseid, and sorry if I did spoil that to you guys, but he does mention his name. I thought maybe for certain we wouldn't have got to see Darkseid's character, maybe just for a split second, maybe as a cameo or something. Honestly, I'm just glad they didn't really show him not too much. They only just mentioned his name and that's it. But they gave us a few hints that the Justice League will face Darkseid soon. But they gave us some few hints and some Easter eggs that Darkseid will be coming soon and will face off the Justice League. And also the music score was perfect, and also especially they even put in were the Superman theme and the Batman theme. It was all thanks to Danny Elfman that he brought back the 1989 classic of Batman. I heard a couple of music scores to that theme, but not really too much. But maybe when I go back to the movies, I'll probably have to listen to it very carefully and see if he did put in all of the Batman themes, because that's my favorite when I was a kid, because that was my first movie to watch it, and I'm practically once again a Batman fan. Now overall, is Justice League the worst superhero movie? I don't think so. It could be a mediocre superhero movie, well, not too much of a mediocre, but there are also big surprises and Easter eggs in this film too, and also they do have two endings. One that's like during the credits, and then after the extra credit, there is an extra big surprise. I'm not going to spoil it to you guys if those of you didn't see it, but if you have seen it and you stayed at the movies, that's great. Just don't spoil it, don't comment it, just keep that to yourself, guys. So just rate this film for Justice League. I'll give it a 8.5 out of 10. The characters were interesting. The storyline, like I said, kind of rushed it, and there were some elements that they kind of stole from the Marvel's Avengers movie and put it in Justice League. There might be some similarities, like how they fight each other, that was the same thing. The characters kind of resembles to the Marvel superheroes, but either way, Justice League, it may not be the best superhero movie, or practically not as better than the other films too, but I think it deserves a second chance. And I would definitely recommend you guys to see it and just to enjoy. You may be disappointed, but you will be happy once it comes on Blu-ray and DVD. And hopefully we will see it on the Ultimate Edition. And plus, even so, I forgot to mention, they did tone down the darker element, how they brighten up the colors so you see it just to pop in. And that was all thanks to Joss Whedon. Now honestly, I do love dark superheroes. I love Batman, I love Batman Returns, Batman v Superman, and yeah, I do like Batman Forever and the Dark Knight trilogy, so that's why I like about these films. I think Justice League is a fair, good superhero movie, just to at least watch it and just to enjoy it. And if they ever do make a sequel, and hopefully it makes much more money on Blu-ray and DVD, maybe they will make a sequel soon. And this is P.M.R.Bonez88 signing off. The saying is, peace!